Hamlet by Michelle Ray. First comes love, then comes madness. Well, really it's more like first comes love, then death, then hasty remarriage, helicopter parenting, wretched breakup, some more death, and then madness, but yeah, whatever wets your blade, sunshine. This is Michelle Ray's alternate universe fanfiction young adult novel where you can meet Ophelia, high school senior, daughter of the Danish king's most trusted advisor, and longtime girlfriend of Prince Hamlet. In this modern adaptation, Ophelia does not die, nor apparently does she go mad. I'm sure you're all slightly familiar with the general plot of Hamlet, and oh, splud. That's a bit depressing, to be honest. Okay, God's bodkin. If you aren't familiar with the general plot of Hamlet, you can click on the complete works of William Shakespeare over here, which will take you to a 20-minute summary, or you can just read the play really quickly and get back. You done? Let's go for a ride. The book starts off with Frailty, Thy Name is Woman, William Shakespeare. Then, following directly beneath that, is Willie, Thy Name is Sexism, Ophelia. As I'm sure you are all painfully aware of, that is not canon Ophelia speaking, that is quirky, spunky, modern Ophelia talking. Do I even need to say it? I'm gonna say it anyway. Context! So, Frailty, Thy Name is Woman is from Hamlet's first and arguably whiniest soliloquy where he is berating his mother for remarrying too quickly for his liking. He's not even talking about Ophelia. So you know what, quirky, spunky, modern Ophelia? Your comment is not appreciated by, let's go with Portia, Viola, Rosalind, Helena, and Beatrice. Oh yeah, they definitely don't count as feminist characters because Shakespeare had one slightly sexist out of context quote. Alert the scholars! Speaking of female empowerment, and I'm gonna get this out of the way right now because if I think about it too much, I'm gonna go down to the river with my boots full of rocks. There's a sex scene, flashback to the night of Ophelia's mother's funeral, and Ophi just sorta jumps on Hamlet and goes, I don't want this to be the day my mother was buried. I want to remember it as the day we first slept together, the day I lost my virginity.
No, I know that smile. Do not make the joke.
I'm gonna make the joke, Cassius.
No, please.
This is happening.
Why?
Necrophilia!
Ah!
But wait, there's more. When Hamlet finally pushed himself inside of me, I started to cry. I had to urge him to go on, and he looked at me so worried. All I could think about was my mother, mere miles from where her baby was leaving behind the last of her childhood. He kissed me as tears melted down my cheeks. I love you, he whispered. I love you too, I whispered back, both to him and to my mom, whom I wanted to know I had found love. No. So, I obviously don't have experience in the matter because this isn't 16th century Verona, but, that's not healthy, right?
No.
Non, moindre chose scène que je n'ai jamais entendu parler.
When she's crying, that is when you stop.
Wait, so are they both thinking of their mothers?
You know what would annihilate any romantic thought?
Because that would be hilarious.
Thinking of your mother rotting in her grave!
In the hands of a more intelligent author, this would cement a theme in Ophelia's mind that death and romantic love and guilt are forever linked, which would then contribute to her madness, but that didn't happen. Also, the scene is written as, wow, what a good supportive boyfriend Hamlet is for continuing to... Yeah, girls, this is what you should look for in a boyfriend, which I firmly disagree with. Speaking of character arcs, the characters are one-dimensional. Claudius is shown as the wicked, evil, awful bad guy right from the start. For instance, during the reveal of Hamlet and Ophelia's sex tape. There's a sex tape, because you know what happened in the original text isn't enough to warrant a response from quirky, spunky, modern Ophelia. Claudius asks Ophelia, Do you have a birthmark on your left hip? Claudius said, his eyes twinkling. Eyes? Twinkling. With malicious intent and sun, no doubt. Gertrude is shown as a controlling, dominating freak. Horatio is the poor, downtrodden best friend. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are surprisingly manipulative status climbers. Laertes and Polonius fit the usual archetypes of protective elder brother, and caring but stern father. Michelle Ray physically describes Ophelia as the usual pale, skinny, waif-type girl. Tucking her bobbed blonde hair behind her ears, her black turtleneck and jeans fit her perfectly, and she has the air of someone who looks great no matter how much time she does or doesn't spend getting ready. She's slim but curvy, and healthy-looking except for circles under her wide green eyes. So that goes along with the most popular representation of Ophelia, this skinny, pale, flowing blonde hair, "Ooh, hey, I'm drowning, flowers, yay!" type of girl. Constantly moaning about Hamlet and Hamlet. Oh, Hammy. He's characterized as, well, imagine walking into a classroom filled with teenagers who compare their relationships to Romeo and Juliet, and then you ask them to draw a picture of the Danish prince. Angst! He wears hoodies and shotguns whiskey and is super duper sad, like, all the time, and a little abusive, but wow, hot abusive, and he's so troubled and pretty and angst. I found this book in the teen paranormal romance section of Barnes & Noble's, which is a red flag right there, but the person who designed the cover for this also did the covers for all of the Twilight books. And it's funny, because his physical description of blonde and skinny does not match the Hamlet model, who's brunette and stocky on the cover. I cannot stress this enough. Very few people cared about this book. And then there's this one character, Sebastian, who Ray mixes in to show Ophelia's life outside of Elsinore. He's all gentle and sensitive in comparison to the rough and rowdy Hamlet, so Ophelia rebounds with him after her breakup with Hamlet, because at this point, Ray was writing drunk and her editors had drowned themselves. Also, and this hurt me on a personal level because it's my favorite scene in all of Shakespeare, the nunnery scene. First off, Ray has Hamlet do To Be or Not to Be far before Polonius and Claudius get the bright idea to watch him and Ophelia interact, and there are reasons why the nunnery scene comes right after To Be or Not to Be. Hamlet has torn himself down so completely that he is almost at the point of just slitting his wrist right there and then when sweet, fair nymph Ophelia comes in and he looks at her begging for forgiveness and remembrance and love. Nymph, thy orisons, be all my sins remembered. There's my reason to live for, and she's returning tokens of old love, and he realizes that not only are they being spied on, but that she has chosen family and duty and honor over him and the times that they have shared, so he snaps and starts chucking her around the room. That didn't quite happen in Falling for Hamlet, mainly because of the wretched writing and ruined plot structure, but also because Hamlet and Ophelia were in a limo. That's just bad staging. And then this is fun, Ophelia doesn't go mad. I understand that it would affect the quality of the narrative if the protagonist suddenly put on one black glove and one yellow glove, but Ophelia gets drunk on vodka and proceeds to rant at the royal family.
Well, to be fair, they're kind of similar.
But really it shows that Michelle Ray is not a real stone-cold Shakespearean because she has obviously never seen slings and arrows.
How does staggering about with your mouth open suggest madness?
I'm not mad.
Right.
And I never have been, so I have to simulate it.
Right.
I'm remembering what it was like being stoned. I'm disoriented. My head is spinning. I think that's what it's probably like when you're insane.
Right. Well, it's not. Trust me. That's what it's like when you're stoned.
Originally, I picked up this book to see how on God's green earth Ophelia faked her death, but Ray spends more time detailing the creepy sex scene. Apparently, Ophelia just gets a haircut and then hides in a motel because it's totally that easy to hide from federal agents. Whilst at said motel, Ophelia gets a call from Horatio, who helped with the haircutting/death faking. Ophelia! And his voice was so strained that I dropped the package of Pop-Tarts I had just grabbed off the convenience store shelf. What's wrong? Hamlet is going to play in a lacrosse game. So that's the big climax scene. If you'll excuse me. Because nothing says final showdown like field lacrosse. Hamlet and Laertes are team captains, dissolving any one-on-one themes. Laertes has a hidden razor blade in his hockey stick, blood on the turf. Ophelia is able to watch the entire thing because Horatio has the Skype app on his Danish smartphone or something, and you know what? I give up. This book is terrible.
Wait, Anne, where are you going?
I'm getting my knives, Cassius.
Where are you going?
I'm getting popcorn.
I'm back with sharp objects.
But
Don't forget to compensate for gravity.
But if you destroy the book, you can't return it!
Oh yeah, huh? Alrighty then.
Rhyme's getting so much better!
Oh, go choke on your popcorn.
Ophelia finally ends this delightful tale after 348 painful pages by saying, I've learned that I behave better when I'm sober. I've learned that good behavior is sometimes overrated. I've learned that peach bridesmaid dresses suck. And I've learned that coffee, when it has just the right amount of milk and sugar in it, is about the best damn thing on the planet. The rest is silence. I ask you, does that sound like someone who's just watched everyone she loved die? The rest is silence. Continuing in the vein of Michelle Ray's stunning creativity. The format of this book is actually quite interesting. Each chapter begins with an excerpt from an interview with Danish Oprah, I guess, where Ophelia is talking about every little terrible thing that has ever happened to her ever in her miserable life. And each chapter closes with an excerpt from an interrogation by the Danish Secret Service because they suspect Ophelia of murdering the royal family. I'm sorry, it's just the way that this girl is written. I'm amazed that she can find her way out of bed every morning, let alone orchestrate a small massacre. Also, Ophelia, girl, I don't care how quirky, spunky, and modern you are, that's not how you talk to people who have the power to execute you. Sassy mouth on that wench. I already talked about the ink disaster that was her nunnery scene, but Ray cannibalized the entire structure of Hamlet to the point where even I was a little bit confused. And I once asked a boy to watch Branagh's Hamlet with me, and I was dumped on the spot. So, let's just say that I know this play really, really well.
Oh, what? He couldn't take 4 hours, 2 minutes, and 13 seconds of unabridged Shakespeare? Wiggling!
And it would have been so good if Ray had actually followed the canon plot line of the play, because we could have seen how modern society shapes teenage relationships and a contemporary Ophelia descend into contemporary madness, but instead we got 348 pages of drivel that was pandering to an audience presumed unfamiliar to the play. Overall, the book is poorly written. The translation of early modern English reads like spark notes, and the most common complaint in young adult literature is that the author overused a thesaurus. Well, that would have been extremely welcome for this book. This is Michelle Ray's first novel, and you can definitely tell that her characters are teenagers, as most of their conversations take place using text lingo. Memorable quotes include when Ophelia is reflecting on Laertes' advice to her regarding Hamlet. My brother asked it best. Are you stupid? Burned in my mind. Ray tries so very hard to be young and hip that I, actual teenager that I am, have no idea what she's saying at points. Bing! I looked at the reply. Horatio, Kint, Miss, More, Skull. To be hind. They're adolescents. Not idiot savants. In conclusion, this book is terrible. No one should ever read it, ever. The characters are stupid, the revised plotline is stupid, the translation of early modern English is stupid, the over-sexualized cover is stupid, and the ending, where Ophelia, sans taking a break from the dating world for a bit, gets together with random plot device Sebastian, is stupid. Everything pertaining to this book is stupid. Done. Reviewed. I hate you. If you'll excuse me now, I'm going to return that for the Tokyo Mew Mew Omnibus. Maybe take a shower first. Yeah. This has been Anne. God be at your table, because he sure as frack wasn't at Michelle Ray's. And on a final note, Ophelia was described as being on the Elsinore Academy swim team. You're not one of us, Michelle. You can't make those kind of jokes. You're kicked out of the Shakespeare fandom. You're not one of us!